How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video and another episode of Previously in DBS, where I go over the week's news in Dragon Ball Super Kai game and digest it down into one easy to process video for you all, so you don't have to go through every day of the week to find out what's going on and just get it in one video, because we do have a lot to go over. So as you remember, if you've watched any previous episodes, we've been getting the reveals for set 15, which have been done by colour. And for this week, it's supposed to be green and multicolour, but they covered all the multicolour cards in just one weekend, which is last weekend, because there wasn't that much. And for the rest of this week, we've got all of the green reveals, including the TPs and SPRs stuff. So we've basically seen now all the set except from the secret rares. So we're going to go over all the stuff we've got shown today, this week, and have a look at it. So for the first run, we got the Goku leaders. So as we remember, they revealed in the trailer for green, the leaders are Goku and Vegeta from the Saiyan saga, and it's what Goku does. So it's got an auto. Well, it's got two autos. First one is when it's played. When you start the game, you get to start with King Kai's planet in play, which is this fill card we got here, and then it's got a standard auto of when it attacks your card, and then it's got an awaken, which is quite different to what we've seen before. Wording wise, more than how it works. So awaken when your life is at 4 or less, or your opponent's leader card's back is facing up. You may switch up to one of your energy to active mode, have this card gain 5,000 power for the turn, and then flip this card over. So that's quite interesting. So it's similar to how we got with some of the the draft box free, I want to say, leaders, where they got restricted awakenings because their effects were quite strong, where like with the Krillin, it only untapped 1 to awaken, and it's the same, like only untaps 1 energy, but you gain a 5k boost for the turn, which is interesting. And it's got weird wording where if your leader's back is facing up, I don't know if that's because we've got leaders where now they have no awaken, they just flip between, like the Gohan and launched. But it's a weird different wording basis to say if your leader's awakened, you can awaken whenever you want. So that's quite nice. So you can aggro them down, force your leader to awaken, and you can awaken at a higher life, which is quite cool. And when it's awakened, it's got an auto, an activate main, and activate battle. So the auto is the same as on the front side. When it attacks, you draw a card, standard. But for his activate main, it's send 4 King Kai's training from under a King Kai's planet in your battle area to its owner's warps. Then this card gains plus 45,000 power for the turn, and then minus 15k power during the next turn. So what's that's basically saying is you remove the 4 King Kai's training that you're using in conjunction with the field to do some shenanigans, just to gain a 45k boost for your turn. And then if you don't kill him that turn, during your next turn, you become a 0 power leader for their next turn. So it's like a huge play, but with a bad payoff. Well, with a good payoff, but then a bad circumstance and reaction if you don't kill them. And there's an activate main, which is nice, rather than activate battle, where you just, if the attack goes through, they can pull it off, like how Gohan was. So it's interesting, and there's a bit more balance, but maybe a bit too overbalanced. And then with the activate battle, it's at once per turn, where you place 1 King Kai's training from under a King Kai's planet in your battle area into his owner's drop area. Then this card gains 10k power for the battle, and on the next turn, you get minus 10k power. So you sacrifice, you can, for one battle during that turn, you can gain a 10k boost, but during the next turn, you're minus 10k for the turn. So if you use it in your turn, you become 5k leader during your opponent's next turn. And if you use it in defensive on your opponent's turn, you become 25 for a battle. And then for your turn, you're a 5k leader, which is not amazing, but it's very flavoursome of the KAIO-KEN, where you can gain a big power boost, but it has like restrictions on your body and does hinder your body a bit. And then the field card that plays out is King Kai's planet. Just filled, no barrier, which is interesting. So it, even though this looks like it's going to be a fill card fill card required strategy. The fill card doesn't have barrier. We know they have put barrier on things like they have done for King Cold and the set to all Freezer. They put barrier on the fill cards that are required from, but they haven't on this one, so it's very susceptible to fill card hate if it ever becomes popular. But it has 2 activate mains. First one is once per turn. Well, they're both once per turn. When you place 1 King KAK'S training card from your deck, life, or drop area under this card, and then shuffle any areas you look through with the skill. So that's quite interesting. And you can turn 1, you can look through your life to see if you could got any in there, and then know what's in your life, which is quite interesting. So I think that was only exclusive to Wish decks. And yeah, so you got an easy way turn 1 just to put 1 under there and have a look through any area you want. And the other activate main is if there are 4 of them in your under the card, so 4 King KAI's training, you get 1 of 3 effects that you choose from. So you can either choose it to 1 Son Goku, confront an invasion in your hand and play it. So that's not actually a card because they, once again, as Bandai keep seeming to do, is not properly QA any of the cards. So they missed off Kaioken from the name of Son Goku confront an invasion, because the real name is KAIO-KEN Son Goku confront an invasion, but they messed up the text on almost all the cards that reference it. So that's why there's a big errata on the ban list, which we'll see in a bit. So it's nice that you can start off your Goku chain for free by playing 1 from your hand, but you play it from your hand, not your deck, so you're losing a card from your hand that way, but not replacing it. Then, or the other option is you can choose all green Son Goku cards in your leader area and battle area, and you gain 5k power for the turn. So that's cool. If you get a field of green Goku cards, then you can give them more boost, even in your leader. So making your leader 20k, or even 25k if it's awakening that turn, is quite nice. And then the other one is you draw a card, then you choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. So that's quite handy if you've got pieces of the chain that you want to get from the deck. You can draw a card and put it back in deck, so you don't play it, because playing a card from hand when you've got the option to play it from deck is not great. But if you can put it back in your deck and play it from your deck so you don't use anything from your hand, it means you keep up your advantage, which is quite handy. So overall, these 3 cards don't look too bad. It's quite interesting, but we need to see what the other pieces are. But then let's have a look at the Vegeta leader. So a green Vegeta leader, so another one, but this one is a proper Vegeta leader in front of Saiyan Saga, which is something we don't get much of in terms of sagas. So Saiyan Saga isn't represented much. I think we've got Nappa, Raditz, and a Goku from there before. We haven't had much from the Saiyan Saga that's decent, but it's nice to see we're getting some. So on its front side, it's got an auto. Once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when one of your battle cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, your opponent chooses 1 card in the hand and discards it. So I mean, that's quite interesting. So no draw on that auto, just if your battle card is removed by skill, by your opponent, or by your opponent's skill, they discard 1. So it's a bit of hand destruction if they try to remove any of your cards. And then it's got an activate battle once per turn if your life is 4 or less. Oh, sorry, not 4 or less. If your life is less than or equal to your opponent's, you gain 5k power for the battle. So that's quite nice. So you can gain a 5k boost once per turn during either player's turn if your life is less than or equal to theirs. But as you can see from that, there's no draw at all. So once again, green seems to be getting screwed over a bit on the leaders, where they're like trying to like balance them out, but end up like screwing them over. And then its awaken is similar to the Goku's, where if your life's at 3 or less, or your opponent's leader back is facing up, you may draw 2 cards, then choose it to one of your opponent's unison cards and remove a marker from it, then flip this card over. So that's quite interesting. I think that's the first of its kind where an awaken takes a marker off unisons. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong, and there have been previous ones that. That's the first I can remember of seeing that. So you get a draw 2 and take a mark off your opponent's unison, which is quite nice. So if they've got a unison with just 1 marker left on it, you kill them unison from awakening. So that's pretty cool. The non-awakened side is got 2 autos. First one is when this card attacks, choose it to one of your opponent's unison cards and remove a marker from it. Additionally, if your opponent doesn't have a unison in play, you can choose it to 1 green Great Ape card in your battle area and switch it to active mode and negate its skill for a turn. So it's got kind of a similar skill as the Xenobardock has, when it attacks, can move a marker off it, but that requires a certain amount of multicolours in his energy to trigger that, which I think is 4 different ones, whereas it's just when it attacks. So it's quite interesting, and it's something in theme with green. Like green's interaction with Unisons is moving markers, and yeah, whole stuff around grapes as well. And its ever also is once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when one of your battle cards is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you draw 1 card and your opponent chooses 1 card in hand and discards it. So the front auto, the auto on the front side is the same on the back, but with an upgraded effect where you do the exact same thing, but you also get a draw as well. So not only do you drop a card from your hand if they use a skill to get rid of your battle cards, but you also draw a card as well. So that's the only way it draws, which is not great. But so the leader just doesn't look that great. It's like a bad hand destruction deck. But we haven't seen the rest of the cards yet, so we don't know if it is as bad as it looks. But even though it doesn't play a fill card, it also has a fill card that's not exclusively for the deck, but does go well with it, which is Vegeta's Parable, which is a 1-cost fill card. With a permanent, where if your leader card is a green Saiyan card, you can activate this card from your hand without paying its energy cost. So easily, if you open it with this, just play it for free. And then it's got two autos. The first one's once per turn, where you pay 1 energy, and when one of your non-great ape Saiyan cards is KO'd by an attack, you can choose 1 great ape card that includes the color and character name of the KO'd card with an energy cost of 4 in your deck, and play it in rest mode, then shuffle your deck. So that's pretty cool. So as we've seen, so it doesn't specify what color it is. Just as long as the great ape is a 4-cost and has the same color, that includes the color that the character is. If you've got like and there's multicolors. If you've got a red or green Vegeta that you block as blocker and you block with it and it gets killed, you can then tap 1, bring out the old multicolor red green Vegeta to play, which is quite cool. And it even works with the yellow ones as well. So if you've got a yellow blocker, a yellow battle card, yellow Vegeta or something like that, and it gets KO'd, you can buy an attack. Mainly if it's got blocker, that's a good way you can do it. You can then pay 1 to bring it out as well, which is quite cool. So it's quite interesting how that could work quite well to make a great deck. But we have to see whatever grades we get in this set. And the other also is kind of like a lesser one than the Planet Vegeta has, which is at the end of your turn, choose it to 1 great ape card in your battle area and switch to active mode. So unlike the Planet Vegeta fill card does, which just untaps all great apes, this just untaps 1 at the end, which is interesting. And then we've got the Unisons and the extra card that the Goku stuff refers to. So the first one we've got is Krillin, Staunch Defender. This is a 2 specified cost 15k green Unison. 2 marker skills in auto. Marker skills once per turn if your life's at 3 or less, and it's your opponent's turn when your leader card's power is decreased, which is called active mode, and it gains block for the turn. So it's quite interesting. So if you have this out and you do use one of the Goku's effects to give it a boost, but then get that minus on next turn, you at least can then attack with your Unison and then auto trigger, untap it, or only if your life's at 3 or less, it untap itself, then give it a blocker. So that's nice having a blocker Unison, and it has to be a Krillin, which is quite funny. Then for its marker skills to both activate mains, the first one is a +1, where you choose 1 card in your hand and place it in the bottom of your deck. Then for every 2 King Kai's training under King Kai's planet in your battle area, you draw 1. So that's only a +1 once you can get 4 King Kai's training under your fill card, which is not great. Like, it can be a +1, but you have to have a lot of stuff outside of it. Wherever Unisons, it's got +1, draw a card. So there's a lot of effort and restricted mainly to his archetype. And the other one is just a -1. If your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, discard it. So just -1, then they can discard a card, which is quite cool. Doesn't really go with the Goku stuff by the looks of it, because we know there's a Goku chain from the spoilers we got previously. But still, that's not too bad for a green Unison. But the really good green Unison we got, because each color kind of has their like generic good card for that color. King Vegeta is that 1 for green. This is a 3 specified cost 19k Unison. King Vegeta's Invasion's command. Now it's got a counter attack skill or a spirit boost 1, meaning you have to use that skill. You have to remove a marker from your current unison on board. You play this card with 3 markers on, not too bad. And then it has a permanent where during your opponent's turn, if a Great Ape card is in play in your battle area, you would choose the specified cost on this card by 1 green. So you can technically, on an attack, pay 2 energy, take a marker off your current unison to play this with 3 markers on it for 2 energy. It's not too bad. Doesn't seem to be that easy. You need a Great Ape card in play in your battle area, not your opponent's battle area or anything. If it was either player's battle area, that might be easier to play, but you're normally just gonna be fine to pay 3 energy to play it. Then it has 2 marker skills. First one being a +1, where activate main, choose up to one of your opponent's choose up to 1 card in your opponent's hand or one of their battle cards, ignore a barrier, and place it in a zone's drop area. So that's a really strong, like just being able to snipe any random card at your opponent's hand, and it's random as well. So they're just going to shuffle their hand, you pick one, they drop it. So that's nice, similar to Cell's Kamehameha, where the randomness was a horrible factor for your opponent, but a good factor for you. And also it gives green some barrier, right, through barrier removal, which is really nice. Something that it's been getting slowly, but have it on a unison is very strong. And the other skill is -X. Activate main. For each marker you move using this skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. So X means you can pay that number of markers, be it 0 or 1, 2, however markers you want to, as long as you've got any markers you want to and can remove, and you can KO that many battle cards your opponent controls. That's pretty cool. But it's the +1 that makes this unison great. And then for the extra card, it's KAK'S training. So this is what it does. It's a 1 cost extra card. For activate main, you choose 1 KAK'S planet in your battle area as a cost. Place this card under the chosen card. Then adds 1 Son Goku Confront Invasion, which we know is KAIO-KENGOKU Son Goku Confront Invasion, from your deck to your hand and shuffle. So it gets you part of a piece of the Goku chain, which is interesting. And that part is let's have a look at what part of the Goku chain. So here we are. KAIO-KEN Son Goku confronting the invasion. This is the KAIO-KEN chain. So it's a 2 cost 15k with barrier and unique. And so activate main, limit 1 for 1 green energy. If there are a total of 4 KAK'S training in your warp and or under a KAK'S planet in your battle area, you can send this card to its owner's warp, play up to 1 Son Goku maximum gains from your deck, then shuffle your deck. And once again, that's never a typo where they've missed out the KAIO-KEN from it, because as you can see next to it, it's KAIO-KEN Son Goku maximum games. So that's quite cool. You can play this for free and then just pay 1, have the swing of it, and be in barrier, so it's hard to remove, to bring out the next part in the chain, being the 3 cost KAIO-KEN Son Goku maximum gains, which is a 19k battle card. With an auto, or when this card is played, you draw 1 card, then choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost of 4 less and KO it. So that's pretty cool, because you're going to bring this out from 1 straight from your deck, and then get your draw. So you can use the field card to play the KAIO-KEN Son Goku from the deck. So you've paid nothing to gain the plus a card on board. Swing of Vix at 15k, which is a nice one, because it still hits the opponent's battle leader card when they're awakened. So most of them are 15k on the awakened side. And then you pay 1 after to then warp this and play the KAIO-KEN, which then you still got a battle card on board. Then you plus by drawing a card and KOing one of their cards, so you get a +2 out of that if you KO something. That's quite interesting. And then it's got an activate main where limit 1 for 1 green if your opponent has 3 or more energy. So we go with the energy requirement, which is what we're seeing in the past few sets. On cards now, we're having a certain amount of energy to do things. And your life is less than or equal to your opponent's. You can choose up to 1 KAIO-KEN Son Goku Decisive Battle in your hand and play on top of this card. And that card is the one we got next to it, which is the SR for the Goku Archetype. So KAIO-KEN Son Goku Decisive Battle is a 5 cost, 25k battle card. And then also they're all 0 cost 5k combo, which is nice that we're getting nowadays, so they're not dead in hand. It has a multitude of skills, being Deflect, Double Strike, Barrier, and Dual Attack, like every good one you could want on it for just normal battle card. It also has EX Evolve, where for 3 green, if your opponent has 3 or more energy, you can evolve it on top of a mono green Son Goku card with energy cost of 2 or 3. And then it has 2 autos. First one is when this card is played, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barriers, so more fruit barrier removal in this green stuff, which is really nice. And you KO. Then your leader card and Son Goku cards in your battle area gain minus 10k power during your opponent's next turn. So there we go. Once again, it's a very strong effect with a harsh downside like KAIO-KEN is in the anime. Then the other autos at the end of your turn, send this card to its owner's warp. If you do, play up to 1 Son Goku, confront an invasion, which should be a KAIO-KEN Son Goku, confront an invasion, from your warp. So that's quite cool. So you play the 2-drop free from the field card, swing with it, use activate main, pay 1 green, play the 3-drop from your deck, trigger the auto, draw a card in case if they got anything, swing with it. No, then just don't swing with it, you just pay the 1 then after that, so your opponent's got 3 or more energy, and your life's less than or equal to theirs. To then evolve from your hand the 5-drop onto it, and then KO 2 things through barrier, swing twice with 25k double strike, and it can't really be stopped because it's got barrier and deflect, which is going to be very, very, very hard to stop. And then in turn, if you don't kill them, your then leader and Goku cards are minus 10k power during your opponent's turn, and you get the 2 cost back from the warp to your board from the 5-drop. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Don't know if this is how strong it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting to test. But it does look quite fun. Then we got some more stuff, more cards to help with the Goku side of it, of the color, to help increase consistency. First one we got training goals, Son Goku. So they're all 1 cost green cards, with the first 2 being 4k and the last one being 5k, and all 0 cost 5k combos. So Goku is an auto where when this card is played, you look at the 5 cards on top of your deck, choose up to 1 green Son Goku card with energy cost of 5 or less, or 1 green Unison card with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So the searcher of the archetype, searching for any green Goku that's 5 cost or less, or the Unison is quite nice. Nice turn 1 play. And then is activate main, limit 1 for 1 green. If there are 3 or more KAK'S training under the KAK'S planet in your battle area, you choose it to 1 Son Goku, confront invasion. So once again, that should be Kai again, Son Goku, confront invasion in your deck or warp, and play on top of this card, then shuffle your deck if you look for it. That kind of seems pointless because you can just get 4 under the field card and then use that skills effect for free to then play the 2 costs from the deck. So it's more they want the auto skill is going to be good for that card, getting you that searching. Then we've got Training Buddy Gregory, which is I don't know if that's the first. This is the first Gregory we've got. It might not be. I think we might have had one in set on the draft boxes of draft box 5, I think, or even 4. But it's got an auto where you choose 1 card in your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck, then place 1 KAK'S training from under a KAK'S planet in your battle area into your drop. Then when your card is played, you draw 2 cards. So that's quite cool. So you bottom deck something from your hand, drop 1 of the extra cards from under your field, and then you draw 2. It's quite cool. And then activate battle where for 1 green, place this card in a drop area, choose 1 of your Son Goku cards, just this card, so it could be a leader, unison, or a battle card, and it gets 15k power for the battle. So it's not too bad. 1 energy 15k isn't too bad, but then it's technically a 2 cost because you need it on board to trigger that effect. So you're technically paying 2 energy for a 15k boost, but also getting some cycles all through the auto. The last one we got is North Kai Master's Guidance with an auto. You choose 1 KAK'S planet from your battle area. When this card is played, you draw a card, then place up to 1 KAK'S training from your deck or drop area under the chosen card, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So it's actually a quite decent card. It allows you to help get the KAK'S training under your fill card a lot quicker, and draws your card as well. So it's like a cantrip that helps reach your goal faster. So by turn 2, if you've got 2 of these in your hand, by turn 2 you can get 4 under your fill card already because you use the fill card. The fill card itself has an activate main where, as we've gone over, grabs one from your deck or life or drop to put under itself already. So you do that turn 1, play this turn 1 to do that. That's 2 under there. The next turn you do the same again, and you've got all 4 under there ready to do the other effect on it, which is quite cool. So you can get this all sorted and get the deck up and running by turn 2 very easily, which is quite nice. Then we've got some of the GOAT Vegeta stuff. So first one we have is the SR for the Vegeta stuff, being Vegeta Elite Resolve. So it's a 1-cost 4K unique with a permanent. If a player has a fill card extra card in their battle area, this card gains blocker. So that's quite nice. How it's just either player as well. If a player, so if your opponent's got a field strategy, or you have a field strategy, which you will for Vegeta with the Vegeta's Parable, you can get a 1-drop blocker. And it also has when you play this card from your hand, you choose one of 2 skills. First one is you look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 green Saiyan card, and she got a 3 or less among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. Now, that's a weird one going for 3 or less. Not entirely sure why, but still, it's good searching. And the other skill is choose up to 1 Vegeta's Parable in your deck, add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So that's a way to turn 1 and get you that fill card. So if you don't open with it from drawing, but you have this, you can easily just play this turn 1, grab the fill card, and then play the fill card for free because, well, as long as your leader's a green Saiyan. Then the other Vegeta we have is a 2-cost Vegeta Preparing to Invade, 2-cost 5k, unique blocker with a permanent where if a green fill card extra card is in your battle area, you can play this card from your hand without paying its entry cost. So another Vegeta you can either play for cheap or for free. That's a blocker to help trigger the Vegeta's Parable to block Sank and then bring out the ape, which is going to be this one you're most likely going to bring out with, which is Great Ape Vegeta Embodied Might. 4-cost 20k ape with blocker, 2 autos and activate main. First one being limit 1 for 1 green. When one of your green non-Great Ape Vegeta cards with blocker is removed from your battle area by opponent's skill, you may play this card from your hand. So that's interesting. So if you've got it in your hand already and your opponent removes your Vegeta by skill rather than attacking, you get if you're playing the Vegeta leader, you get a discard from hand. Then you can pay 1 to drop this from your hand to have a blocker. Then the other auto is once per turn, when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 1 card in hand and discards it. So that's cool. That's quite cool. So this card isn't unique. So if you can get multiple of them out, you're just swinging with 20k and making a discard a card each time, which is quite interesting. It's like a really weird hand control deck. Then the activate main, where for 2 green, if a player has a fill extra card in their battle area, this player's card from your hand. So it's nice. It just says once again, it just says a player has a fill card. So you having a filled triggers it, and if your opponent has filled, has triggered it as well. So it's quite interesting. Into 2 energy, getting a 4-cost ape that then, when it attacks, discards a card from your opponent's hand is quite decent. Then we have some green Gohan cards, which similar thing, having a 1-cost, 2-cost, and a 4-cost, with the 4-cost being ape. So the first one we got is Son Gohan Confronting Invasion. So that's a blocker. Also, if your leader card is a green Saiyan card, when this card is KO'd by opponent's attack, choose it to 1 of your opponent's Unison cards, remove a marker from it, and add it to 1 card from your life to your hand. So that's quite interesting. That would be that's not too bad for the Raditz deck really, because it's a green Saiyan and it helps you awaken faster thanks to its auto, and also just by you can block an attack and take markers off your opponent's Unison, which is quite interesting. So that's a pretty decent 1-drop. And then the other one is Son Gohan Rageful Fury, 2-cost 10k unique blocker. Also, when this card in your battle area is KO'd by an opponent's skill, you may play this card from your hand. If you do, this card gets 10k power for the turn. So that's cool. Get a free play of a 20k blocker if your opponent removes 1 of your battle cards. It seems a bit like the Vegeta stuff, like stuff for the Vegeta deck, because none of it really seems to go well with the Goku stuff by the looks of it. And then we have the 8 being the 4-cost 19k Son Gohan Simian Revenge. Blocker Revenge. So that's quite interesting. This one's got Revenge on it. And the only skill it's got is an auto, limit 1. When one of your green non-Great Ape Son Goku youth cards with blocker is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, you may play this card from your hand. That's cool. You can either play it off the field, or you can play it off that auto if it gets removed by a skill. So it's quite a convoluted way to drop these apes, but yeah, green never gets the best stuff when it comes to any set really. And then we have the green Nappa and SAIBAIMAN cards. So we got Nappa on guard, 1 cost 4k, blocker, with an auto where switch this card to rest mode. When your opponent uses a skill to play a battle card with energy cost greater than their current energy, they choose 1 card in hand or one of their battle cards and place it in their owner's drop area. So this is the one drop that every color has been getting, where it's a 1 drop blocker that has a skill where you switch it to rest mode to do something if your opponent does something. And this is green's one, which is quite decent. So if they try to cheat something out, if they try to cheat something out that's higher than their energy, they discard a card or lose a battle card from the battle area, which is quite cool. Then we got Nappa the Intimidator, 2 cost 15k critical. If your leader card is a Vegeta or Nappa card, when this card is played from your hand, your opponent discards 1 card, choose 1 card in hand, discards it. It's quite interesting. So you just play it very easily 2 energy. If you got a Vegeta or Nappa, they discard a card and you got critical, so that you're denying them cards and taking them away. That's quite decent. That's quite decent value. And it doesn't have unique, so you can keep playing them over and over again. So in the long game, you're putting quite a bit of pressure on. Doesn't seem that competitive because you're paying 2 energy for such a small effect, but still not too bad. And then we have a new SAIBAIMAN card, SAIBAIMAN UNISONS SPR. So it's a 1 cost 4k blocker, permanent that all SAIBAIMAN seem to have, where you can include as many copies of this card in your deck as you like. And it's also as when this card is KO'd, you choose it to one of your opponent's Unison cards with 4 or more markers on, and remove a marker from it. So I think they've got, I can't remember what the other SAIBAIMAN do, but you got ones that KO, battle cards, one that minuses things, and now you got one that takes markers off Unison. So they're getting slowly SAIBAIMAN that do almost everything, like do little things to everything, but having to have your opponent's Unison on 4 more markers just to take a marker off. I feel like it should have been 3 markers or more, because 4 markers isn't something a lot of Unisons get to. But yeah, it's another SAIBAIMAN for the Nappa deck. And then we got some of the Z Warriors. So the green ones, we got Yamcha, Confront Invasion. This is a 3 cost 20k, dual attack, permanent. If your opponent has 6 or more battle cards in play, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So your opponent's got a wide board just to play this for 1 energy as a 20k dual attacker. And then it's got its auto where at the end of your turn, if your opponent has a battle card with energy cost of 1 in play in a battle area, place this card in its owner's drop area. So it isn't a great card. It's very thematic because, as we know from the anime, Yamcha gets killed by the SAIBAIMAN, and it's got a nice flavorful auto where the SAIBAIMAN in this game, in the card game, are all 1-drops, or mostly all 1-drops. And if your opponent's got one in the like a 1-drop in their board, it kills itself, which is it's not a good card for competitive play, but it is a very flavorsome one. Then a super combo for green is Tien Shinhan Confronting Invasion, which is a super combo. If your leader card is green, you life's 4 less. When it's using combo draw 1, so standard super combo. And then we got a new Chaozu for the it could be a target for the Tien deck. So the 1 cost 5k, who would activate main. Send this card to his owner's warp. Your opponent chooses 1 card in their battle area. If it's a non-Saiyan card, KO it. So that's interesting, but the only problem with that is most cards in this game are Saiyans, I would say, because Saiyan is the big theme. Like, that's what the main characters are, Saiyans. But does seem like an interesting tech option and another target for the TN leader when it gets that free search for a Chaozu on their front side. And then we got some other green cards, being the green Archetype support. So we got Piccolo, Confronting Invasion, which is a 3 cost 10k blocker with a counter attack skill, so negate the attack and then play this card. But you're not going to be paying it for free because it was permanent, where if your leader card is green, it's a green Son Goku card, and it's your opponent's turn, you reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. But still, you spend 2 energy to negate an attack and play a blocker. But that's it, like you got better negates like the green Boo and red Topo that do the same energy, maybe discard a card as well, but then have a more beneficial effect to kind of reduce how many attacks you can take for the rest of the turn. So it's not fantastic, but it is only a common. Then we got Yajirobe Confronting Invasion, a 1-drop 4k, where if counter attack, negate the attack player's card in rest mode, and if the attacking card is a Great Ape or Demon Clan battle card, choose it, KO it, and your opponent draws 1 card. So that's very thematic for the Dragon Ball anime, where Yajirobe actually helped out with beating King Piccolo and beating Vegeta. So it's very flavoursome in that card. Like, there's a lot of flavour in green for the cards, but not enough decent cards for archetypes or good cards. But that's just what green gets all the time. And then lastly, we have Raditz requesting reinforcements. This is support for the Raditz deck. It's 1 cost 4k blocker, and an auto where you choose one card in your hand and discard it. When this card is KO'd by an opponent's attack, you choose up to one of your red or green Vegeta or Nappa cards with energy cost of 1 from your deck. Set it to warp, shuffle your deck, and then play that card from your warp at the end of your next turn. Yep, this don't know what good targets there are for that, but I can't imagine there's that many good ones. Like, the Raditz support just seems to always be very lackluster. Even the reboot wasn't that much better than the old one, which is saying something when it's a reboot and it's not that great. And then next we have the last few green cards from the set, being the green skillless cards. So green, I think every color got skillless cards in this, because red got the monster Nugget Vig monster, yellow got some higher dragon stuff, blue got his Universe 6, and now green got another monster one in Plains monster, so another monster of skill. So I think in this set I think every color has a monster skillless battle card except blue, and we also got North Kai featuring as a skillless card, being a 3 cost 30k one, which is kind of cool. But that's it for the green cards, and now we have the S special rares. So as we saw with some colors getting, I think we got a reduced amount of special rares in this set because we're getting 4 secret rares, and because of that we have some colors like yellow and black and blue all got 1 special rare, but then we have some colors still got 2, like red got 2, being the Videl counterplay and Broly, and green gets some pretty decent ones. So we got King Vegeta Invasion Command, probably the best card in green in this set, like generic green card. It's getting a nice, really nice looking SPR. Like, I know I'm going to be looking to get a place out of this. And then the other one, which is like really probably good for collectors, is KAIO-KENGOKU to fight decisive battle. Like, nice art for in the Saiyan Saga when he's just beating Vegeta. It's going to be a good pickup for collectors, and maybe anybody wants to fall out and try out the green Goku deck. But not only did green get white colors, we also got some white colors SPRs as well that didn't show us on the weekend. And that's why some colors only got 1 SPR, because white colors got 2. First one being, like, you can't have Goku have an SPR without Vegeta having an SPR as well. So we got the Vegeta got an SPR in Vegeta Omnipotent Elite, the multicolor, like, kind of check planned we got. Looking really nice, and also still having that, like what they're doing now with the multicolors, to having that half the text is in one color, half the text in the other color, which is quite cool. I think they introduced that first in the collector's edition. It just looks really nice. And not only that, but one of the best cards in the multicolor for blue yellow is getting one in Kefla, getting a nice SPR as well. Yeah, but like all the SPRs looks just really, really nice. And yeah, it's just like every set, the SPRs seem to get better and better art. So that is all for the SPRs, but we also have TPs as well. So we got green's got some TPs. And that is a Videl and a Raditz, with Videl Call of Justice being a 1 cost 1k counter attack, negate the attack and play this card. And if a Son Gohan Adolescence card is in play in your battle area, this card gains blocker for the turn. And it's also got permanent with Bond 2, where you need 2 heroines, and it counts itself because it is a heroine. This card gets a plus 9k power, so it becomes a 10k blocker if you've got a Gohan in your battle area and you have another heroine in your battle area too. It's not a great card, but then the TPs have been drastically reduced in power, and it's more they're becoming more support for older archetypes, and just more older archetype support, which is not too bad. But then after going from SS3 Gochi to that set of TPs to this, is a drastic power reduction. And then we have the Raditz Vengeful Strike, which is a free cost 15k, unique and blocker, with two autos, first one being limit 1. For 1 green, when a card in your opponent's hand is sent to their warp by one of your skills, you can play this card from your hand. So it pairs perfectly with the Raditz leader, either one the reboot or the old one. And the other one is if your leader card is green, when this card is played, for every 2 non-black cards in your opponent's warp, you choose 1 card in your opponent's battle area with energy cost of 4 or less and KO it. So that's not too bad, but then you have to wait quite a few turns for Raditz unless they are playing Overwhelm and not a black deck to KO a lot. But then again, if you're going for a black deck, you're not KOing anything, you're just getting yourself a 15k blocker for 1 energy. So yeah, not fantastic TPs, but still supporting older stuff. And then, but that is it for all the cards in the set. But we also did get some information on Friday regarding a ban list as well. So we did get a ban list, and we got a few things. It was 1 card got banned, and 7 cards got errated. But only 2 of the erratas are relevant because the other 5 are correcting the Green Goku stuff, where they're missing out the KAIO-Ken on the names of the Goku cards. As we went over through this, there are some cards that just say Goku confronting invasion, which should be KAIO-Kens and Goku confronting invasion. So there's erratas on those cards to add the KAIO-Kens to the card's name because they missed out on printing, because their QA for cards is terrible. It needs to be fixed, really, in my opinion. First one we got, we don't have that. We also have before we get onto the ban list, we also have the winner cards for the tournament packs. So as you can see, the winner cards for the non-multicolor ones, because we've got multicolor TPs, are Videl and Gohan, because if you remember from the last one, we got a red and a blue one in the last one, so it was only right that in this set we get a green and a yellow one, and the ones for that is Videl and Gohan. Looking quite nice. Like the Videl's going to be liked for all those Videl fans out there, and the Gohan is probably one of the decent ones support for his older archetype. It actually helps out, but not enough to make it competitively viable. But then it could be still. It's not always about competitiveness for the Dragon Ball. There is some casual stuff as well. Like you can play it casually and probably have fun. And with the other one, we have the multicolor ones. So we have King Vegeta as one of them, and Baby Janemba, Malefic Agent Destruction for the other one. So these look really nice. I'm definitely going to need to pick up that King Vegeta Greatest Rule Winner card from a cube. And the Baby Janemba one is probably the best out of the 4, because it's such a great card to add to the help out Agent Destruction deck. And I know myself personally, I might give a try, pick up the AOD deck back up, because I've got it all mostly foil now. Pick that back up and give it a try with this new addition to it. It's like having an offering or something you can play for free is very strong, just for free, dropping at 20k. That then gives your opponent a choice: either crit their own life, so you're doing damage without doing anything, or drawing 2 more cards, which is really nice. But that actually is it for all the cards in the new set, all the new stuff. We get the ban list. So, as I said, it's 1 card banned and 7 cards errata, with 5 of them being the KAIO-Kens, the stuff where they forgot KAIO-Ken off the text. So for the first one, the banned card we have is Bojack. So Violent Rust Bojack is going to be banned starting from November. I think the 1st of November is when it's in effect. And this is one that a lot of people expected. I personally didn't think this was much of an issue, but Bandai did give a good reason for why it's banned, being that yellow decks got some unnecessary extra defense in having this card. Just drop this and have an extra energy to help defend and put up a pretty strong defensive wall, and it just give you an edge over all the other decks having this. So they decided to ban it. Personally, following their reasoning behind it is a good ban. It is a good choice of card to ban, because as we saw, Kid Icarus or Gohan Icarus was a dominating deck, as we saw from the tournament results over the last few weekends, or the last few events that have been around. But I still feel that instead of banning it, they could have ratted it to being only playable in the Bojack leader. Because by banning this, not only did it shut down all the blue-yellow strategies by denying them this card that made them more strong because it's so generic, but they also indirectly killed OG Bojack, which slowly getting support to be a decent and fun casual deck. And now it's lost one of its key things, not only because of how strong it is, but because it was a one-cost rival and a Bojack Brigade. So be able to rival this on your opponent's turn to get a draw, because the leader draws on both players' turns. Be able to rival this during your opponent's turn, give you a bit more defense in the deck because it has no other skills on the leader when it can awakening, just from the drawing when you play a Bojack Brigade and KOing the comboing stuff in rest mode. Not in rest mode, but on your board. This gave the deck a way to actually play it play well, and by taking it away, it's essentially killed OG Bojack. So the ban is good. I feel the ban is really good for this card, but they could have just to save OG Bojack limited it errated it so it can only be played with a Bojack leader, because you wouldn't play this with the blue Bojack leader because it's heavily resolves around mono blue stuff. But that is it for just one card banned. So you got one thing banned, and we got two erratas. So nothing got limited, nothing got taken off the limit, nothing got taken off the ban list. Just one ban and two erratas. First one being Zamasu, which is one I think a lot of people did expect. Some people thought it won't get hit because it was unnecessary in their opinions. This is one I expected to be changed, and what changed on it was the counterplay being, instead of play this card and the card being played as an energy cost of 4 less, it's returned to its hand. It's been changed from play this card, and if the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 less, return it to its owner's hand. So this means that this card no longer hits unisons. So it means that blue got a big boost from this, meaning that no longer do they get pushed back until turn 5 to play their unisons, which was killing ones that required a unison to awaken without going to a certain life total. And yeah, it was a weird choice for them to bring out a card during the Unison Warrior arc, which is focused around unisons, that stopped unisons from being played in the best color combination and best deck of the format, or the meta. So that was a really weird call on their card, but it seemed like they did intend for it to be that way, but didn't expect it to be so strong, which is weird. So I know that was some people expected it, or suspected that it was a translation error, where they didn't mean it to be cards, battle cards, but they did intend it to be cards, but didn't intend it to be as powerful as it was. So they errated it to be in battle cards. And then the last card on the errata list, the other one, is Galactic Buster. So this is one that did throw some people off. Some people expected this, and were speculating around this being dealt with in some way, and they did errata Galactic Buster. So now, instead of being, if your leader card is a Bojack Brigade card or a mono blue card, it's now only if your leader card is a Bojack Brigade card. So now this can only be played. This only works with Bojack leaders, meaning that you can only use it with the OG Bojack, the yellow one, or the blue one that came from set 13 that it came with. So that means now all the blue, if you look at the results, is a good hit, because if you look at mostly all the blue decks, they all had the same engine, where they were just playing the same stuff. They're playing the blue-yellow stuff, maybe not playing. They're playing the blue-yellow package of the Bojack Super Combo and Zamasu and stuff, and the expansion Bojack to have that blue-yellow Unison Hate package. Then they also had the Galactic Buster package with the 8-drop Bojack, the 4-drop Bojack, and Galactic Buster to give yourself a extra easy way to combo stuff and draw power. And looking at most of the blue decks from previous events in this current meta, almost every blue deck has this, or if they're not, if they're blue, they try and fit this in some way. Just easy package to put in there. Be limited deck building, and almost every single blue deck look the same, except like maybe a few cards. So they decided to take that away from blue decks. So now there's a bit more. There's more of a gap now, so we can try more things, and so every blue deck isn't playing the same engine. Because now with all these free hits, blue decks won't be just playing the same blue yellow package, even though Zamasu is still strong. It's not as powerful as it used to be, and they won't be having. Not every deck will be having the Galactic Buster now. That's exclusive to Blue Bojack, which actually makes it more playable now, because now it has something that before every blue deck played it. So it was like, why play it with the Bojack leader, Blue Bojack leader, when you can play it with any other blue deck leader? And now it's like, okay, the Blue Bojack leader is now a bit more playable because it's got this exclusive thing that was strong in every deck, but now it's been restricted to just that leader. So it gives it a bit more edge and a bit more reason to be played now, which is nice. But that's everything for this week. We did get a note in the last reveal saying that we are going to be getting secret reveals, but not until next Sunday. So we've got to wait a week now until next Sunday, with nothing in between now. I would expect, we are getting the Mythic booster, which actually I did forget to grab the screenshots from the second episode of the DBS CG Direct, where they showed they explained a bit about the list and stuff, and also went over a segment and also revealed some new cards from the Mythic booster. So we saw that Mutable Menace, Frieza Mutable Menace, the promo Frieza, the red one that can cheat out the 5-drop red-blue Frieza for cheap. Is also in the set, and they did reveal one of the secret rares being Cell Zeno. Is one of the 2 secret rares being reprinted in there, which is the one that a lot of people suspected because it's been errataed, and that way they can get out with the new techs. But it also comes in a foil of the old art and a full gold stamp of the new art, which is I'll put in the description below, or the comment section, description below, a link to the DBS Direct so you can watch it yourself if you haven't seen it already. But it does look like it has a kind of Attack on Titan kind of theme on it with his art, which you'll see if you have a look at it. But that's everything for today. Thank you for watching. It's been a long one today, and we'll probably have another one next week when we get the secret rare information next Sunday, because it looks like we've got nothing between there, even though it would be nice to see some Mythic booster information for in the little gap, but it doesn't look like we're getting anything. But once again, thank you for watching. Feel free to give a like to the video if you enjoyed the series. Comment down below if there's what you want to see, or if there's anything I got wrong. And lastly, feel free to subscribe if you want to keep updated with my videos as and when they come up on my channel. It helps my channel up, keeps you updated, and it help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs, which we're a quarter of the way there. So once again, thank you for watching, and see you next one. Bye for now.